Welcome to the deep dive. Remember Jack Ma's bold prediction back in 2017, I think?
Oh, yeah, the one about a robot CEO on the cover of Time?
Exactly, within 30 years. Sounded like pure sci-fi then, but, well, it's starting to look like reality now.
It really is. Things are moving fast.
So today we're diving deep into this fascinating world. Autonomous AI systems actually taking on corporate management roles.
Right, stepping into the C-suite.
Our mission here is to really understand how these AIs interface with us. And maybe more importantly, how do they prove their decisions are legitimate, ethical even?
That's the core question. This deep dive should give you a real shortcut to getting up to speed on the challenges and some of the groundbreaking solutions emerging.
Yeah, because this isn't just AI as some background tool anymore, is it?
Not at all. It's AI as an active player in leadership.
Yeah.
So whether you're maybe prepping for a meeting on digital transformation or you're just curious about where leadership is headed.
Or maybe you just love those aha moments.
Right. This should show you how AI isn't just crunching numbers. It could potentially be running whole companies. And that obviously raises huge questions about trust,
Yes,
about transparency.
that really is the crux of it. These autonomous AI systems, they're fundamentally changing how we think about corporate leadership, even basic social interaction within companies and outside them, too.
It's a massive shift, both tech and, well, deeply social.
And when we look at how these AIs actually interact with us, researchers are kind of identifying two main ways, two main interface types.
Exactly. So the first big category is what they're calling digital control panels, DCPs for short.
DCPs.
Think of these as these huge, multifunctional digital command centers, often using massive interactive visualization walls, giant digital dashboards.
So not just a screen on a desk, we're talking like an entire room dedicated to visualizing data.
Pretty much, yeah. Can I give you a real-world example?
Do. Paint us a picture.
Okay, look at the ADNOC Panorama Digital Command Center. This thing is a 50-meter interactive wall. 50 meters. It's showing real-time data from 14 different subsidiaries, monitoring, get this, over 10 million data tags.
10 million. Across how many dashboards?
Over 120 dashboards. And the impact, it makes their visual management something like 700 times faster.
That's unbelievable efficiency.
And it translates to real money. They've saved somewhere between $60 to $100 million annually, just through optimizing operations based on this system.
That's staggering. But, okay, it looks impressive, it saves money, but how do we move beyond just trusting a flashy dashboard? How do people understand the AI's reasoning behind those numbers?
That's where the design philosophy comes in.
See.
DCPs work because they tap into our natural preference for visual information. We just process visuals much more intuitively than, say, pages of text or spreadsheets.
Makes sense.
So these systems can demonstrate and actually explain complex decisions in a format that's, well, much easier to digest. It's not just data viz. It's using visualization for decision legitimation. Transparency is built in.
Okay, so clarity through seeing the whole picture. But I'm guessing these control panels aren't exactly pulling up a chair for a chat in the boardroom.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're incredibly powerful for data-driven decisions, but they generally lack those social interaction functions. They're brilliant analysts, but not really conversationalists.
Right. Which naturally brings us to that second type of interface, personified systems. These seem designed to bridge that social gap. And you said they come in two main flavors.
That's right. You have anthropomorphic robots,
Yeah.
physical humanoid ones,
Right.
and then you have virtual agents.
Let's start with the physical ones, anthropomorphic, humanoid robots.
Okay, so these are actual physical robots designed to look and sometimes act human. Their biggest strength, it's that social interaction piece, which for leadership is often crucial.
Because we're wired for it.
Precisely. We're social creatures. We respond strongly to human-like things, voice, facial expressions, body language. These robots can use those channels, gestures, maybe expressions, even a handshake.
It's amazing how our own psychology shapes how we react to machines. And these robots, they can work in our environments, use our tools.
Yeah, surprisingly well sometimes. They can operate in human spaces, use the same equipment, and they've even been used in dangerous places, remember Fukushima?
Right, right.
Beyond just doing tasks, they also become a sort of new way to carry and deliver information.
Yeah.
A very human-centric way.
Are there actual examples of these in leadership roles?
There are experimental ones, yes. Look at Mika. She's technically a board member for Dictador, acting as an experimental CEO. Mika provides exclusive interaction for their community members.
Interesting.
And then there's Sophia, the robot ambassador everyone's seen. She's engaged with people all over the world. These examples really highlight how that physical presence can build a connection.
Okay, so physical presence matters. Now, what if you take that body away? That gets us to virtual agents.
Exactly. They have many of the same human-like advantages. They can look human, sound human,
Like,
but they don't have that physical form.
where they fit in best.
Well, they seem particularly well suited for these rapidly growing virtual spaces like the metaverse.
Ah, okay.
And there's a really compelling example. Tang Yu, she's a virtual humanoid AI robot, appointed CEO of a NetDragon WebSoft subsidiary in China.
A virtual CEO. How did that go?
Surprisingly well, it seems. After her appointment, the company's shares actually outperformed the Hang Seng Index. Reports say Tang Yu optimized processes, improved work quality, sped things up, and she acts as a real-time data hub, too.
That's quite an impact for a virtual entity. But how does that compare? When you put the virtual agent against the physical robot, does that lack of a body really change things?
Research suggests it really does, yeah.
Yeah.
Physical embodiment seems to significantly affect how we interact and perceive them.
How so?
Well, physical robots are often seen as more interesting, maybe more reliable, more informative, just generally more pleasant to interact with. That physical presence makes a difference.
And screens maybe get in the way.
Kind of. Screens can sort of lock our gaze, what reduces that dynamic face-to-face feeling you get, even with a robot.
So we've got these like super analytical dashboards on one side and these human-like social interfaces on the other. It feels like the dream would be to combine them somehow.
It does, doesn't it? And that's actually a key trend people are watching. The rise of hybrid systems.
Hybrid, meaning
Meaning systems that aim to combine the sheer data processing power of those digital control panels with the social skills, the interaction capabilities of the personified systems.
the best of both worlds.
That's the hope. Imagine getting deep data analysis delivered through an interface that feels intuitive, maybe even build some rapport.
Okay, so we've kind of mapped out the faces of these AI leaders. But the real test for any leader, human or machine, isn't just showing up. It's about integrity, right?
Absolutely.
Which brings us squarely to that fundamental challenge. Legitimacy. Ethics. How on earth does an AI system whose decisions can often feel like a total black box actually demonstrate that it's behaving legitimately, ethically, especially in a corporate leadership role?
Yeah, that explainability gap is probably the single biggest hurdle. It really hinders social acceptance if people just can't understand why a decision was made.
It's not just about feeling good, is it? There are practical requirements.
Oh, definitely. An AI board member needs to communicate with shareholders, investors, auditors, other directors, employees, all the stakeholders.
And there's paperwork.
Exactly. Form requirements like documenting meetings, discussions. And AI has to be able to fulfill those roles. And beyond the formalities, leaders simply have to demonstrate ethical, responsible, transparent governance. Their decisions need justification, not just execution.
If you can't explain it, you can't trust it.
Pretty much. That's the bottom line.
Now, as these AIs get more human-like, you mentioned anthropomorphism. Are there downsides, risks? I think you called it the dark side of anthropomorphism. What does that mean for legitimacy and ethics?
It's a really tricky area. The concern is when developers try to create features that give an illusion of mental life, like making a robot seem like it cares or has emotions.
But it doesn't, right? Not really.
No, not in any way we understand consciousness or feeling. Modern robots are sophisticated tools, but they don't have minds or experiences. So making them seem like they do can be deeply misleading, even if it's unintentional.
And the risk is we fall for it.
The risk is we overestimate their abilities. We might think a robot truly understands complex human situations, nuanced ethics, when it doesn't. And we might trust its judgment inappropriately because it looks or acts empathetic.
I see. We project our own understanding onto them. That could be dangerous.
It could. And there's another layer, too, with nonverbal cues. Humans, as Freud pointed out, often betray things nonverbally even when trying not to. If a person's lips are silent, he babbles with his fingertips, was his phrase.
Right, subtle giveaways.
But with a robot, every single nonverbal cue, a smile, a nod, a gesture, it's all programmed. There's no underlying true meaning or lack thereof that we can instinctively pick up on.
So we might misinterpret programmed politeness as genuine agreement or something like that?
Exactly. There's a real risk of misunderstanding because we can't naturally read their cues in the same way we read other humans. This is critical in a leadership context where trust and nuance are everything.
Okay, so if the AI itself can't truly be ethical in a human sense, and mimicking it has risks, how do we even begin to build trust? How does it establish an ethical reputation?
Well, given these challenges, one really important factor becomes trust in the manufacturer, the developer's brand.
Ah, so the reputation of the creators stands in for the AI's integrity.
In many ways, yes. The brand becomes a kind of proxy, signifying adherence to ethical design principles, rigorous testing, built-in safeguards. It puts enormous responsibility on the companies building these AIs.
Okay, so building trust is complex. How do we actively tackle this black box problem then? What are the concrete strategies people are developing to make these systems genuinely accountable and transparent?
This is where the field of explainable AI, or XAI, really comes into play. We need robust ways for the AI to provide explanations. And going back to those interfaces, digital control panels actually have a big advantage here.
Because of the visuals.
Exactly. Those huge dashboards can literally show you the process. They could display the data collection, the algorithms being used, the validation steps, the whole chain of reasoning laid out visually. It provides an auditable trail.
So you can see the working. That makes sense for data stuff. What about policies and principles?
Well, we can borrow ideas from human corporate governance, like the comply or explain principle.
How would that work for an AI?
Imagine an AI needs to deviate from a standard policy because strict adherence would be counterproductive in a unique situation. Instead of just doing it, it would flag the deviation and explicitly state why it's necessary. Maybe even show which rule it's overriding and the justification.
Like an indicator light showing which of Asimov's laws it's currently following or not following and why.
Something like that. Maybe not Asimov's laws exactly, but the principle holds. Real-time transparency about its adherence to programmed rules and ethical guidelines.
That would be a big step. And what about ongoing performance? Humans get reviews, need chaining.
Good point. We could see similar things for AI, maybe AI certifications or continuous learning protocols to ensure their knowledge and decision-making models stay up to date and aligned with ethical standards. It begs the question, though, what would an AI board certification even look like? Who issues it? Who checks?
Big questions.
And layered on top of all this, the legal landscape is shifting. Many places are introducing or planning to introduce a legal right to explanation for decisions made by AI.
So it's becoming mandatory.
Increasingly, yes. It's moving from a nice-to-have to a legal necessity.
Okay, so we have visual explanations, comply or explain, certifications, legal rights. How do we pull all these threads together into a working system? You mentioned XAI, explainable AI.
Right. Researchers are proposing frameworks that integrate multiple concepts. Think, computational law.
Defining laws as algorithms the AI can execute.
Exactly. Hard-coding compliance. Then, having a dedicated operational context, the specific environment and rules the AI operates under, which helps demonstrate legitimacy, maybe using that comply or explain idea.
Okay.
Add to that controlled generation of synthetic data for testing, sophisticated machine learning algorithms, game theory for figuring out optimal strategies.
Wait, game theory, how does that fit in?
Game theory helps the AI model and predict how other actors, competitors, regulators, even internal teams might react to its decisions. It allows for more robust strategic planning by anticipating the game.
Smart. And then the XAI techniques themselves.
Yeah, that's about designing AI models that are inherently understandable from the start. Or, if they're complex black boxes, applying methods after the fact to figure out why they decided something, identifying key features, or even building interactive tools so users can explore the model themselves.
So the AI could argue its case, so to speak, maybe in different ways?
Precisely. It could use multiple methods to justify its position. Think about something like transfer pricing in tax law.
Where companies have different accepted methods to justify prices between divisions.
Exactly that kind of idea. An AI could use a simple model for a quick, general explanation. But if the discussion gets deeper, it could switch to a more complex model to provide more detailed reasoning. It tailors the explanation.
This is fascinating, but it leads to another really mind-bending challenge you mentioned, the semantic gap.
Yes. This is deep.
The idea that machine learning might find patterns or features that just don't have words in human language.
That's the crux of it. The AI's mathematical optimization might create concepts that don't map neatly onto our human understanding, our semantics. The classic example is a deep learning system identifying features of a cat that we just don't have a name or concept for. It sees something fundamentally different.
So how do you explain something you don't have a word for?
This is where things get really futuristic. One idea is developing an algorithmic dictionary.
A dictionary for AI concepts.
Essentially, yes. Giving the AI the tools to articulate these novel concepts, maybe even coin new terms, neologisms, that we would then need to learn.
Wow. So the AI wouldn't just be explaining itself in our terms, it could actually expand our language and maybe even our understanding.
That's the potential, yeah. It's a revolutionary thought, expanding human cognition itself through interaction with AI reasoning.
Okay, my head's spinning slightly. Let's bring this back down to earth. How do these different explanation strategies connect back to the interfaces we started with, the DCPs and the personified systems?
Right. So digital control panels, with all their screen real estate and processing power, can really go deep. They can visualize complex data flows, algorithmic steps, justifications, really in-depth stuff.
Makes sense. And the robots and virtual agents?
They use their multimodal abilities,
Yeah.
speech, obviously, screens integrated into their form, touch interaction, maybe indicator lights, like on the Pepper robot. They can even do physical demonstrations.
Like showing how strong a material is.
Exactly. Or think about autonomous cars. Some already have small displays showing pedestrians why they're stopping or waiting. Simple, real-time textual explanations.
So using whatever channels they have available.
Precisely. And again, this points towards those hybrid systems being potentially the most powerful.
Because they can combine both.
Absolutely. They could offer the deep, data-driven, visual explanations of a DCP and the multimodal, socially nuanced explanations of a personified system. You get the rigorous justification and the intuitive communication. It seems like the most complete approach.
Okay, so we've really covered a lot of ground here. We've navigated this landscape of AI stepping into management roles, looking at everything from those huge digital control
To
rooms.
the robot and virtual CEOs engaging socially.
We explored why explainability, legitimacy, ethics, why these are so absolutely critical.
Hmm.
And we looked at some of the really innovative strategies being developed to actually achieve that transparency.
So pulling it all together, what's the big picture for you, the listener?
Well, these hybrid systems, the ones merging that raw computing power with more intuitive social interaction, they really do seem like the most promising path forward right now.
They kind of address the weaknesses of each type alone.
They do, but, it's also possible that as we get more comfortable with AI, maybe we move away from anthropomorphism in certain areas. Maybe sometimes a pure data-driven interface is actually better, less misleading. The jury's still out on that.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought to end on. As these AI systems get woven deeper into leadership, is our very definition of understanding or even explanation going to have to stretch?
Yeah.
Will we need to adapt to think in ways that go beyond our current human semantics?
And on a personal level for you listening, how will you decide if you can trust an AI making critical decisions that affect you or your company? What kind of explanation, what kind of interaction will make you feel genuinely informed and confident in its leadership? Something to think about.